Welcome back, listeners. You are listening to Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ron Couming of RCS Technology Solutions, where we provide businesses with the opportunity to increase their client base, attract new clients, and retain them long-term using the power of the Internet, developing a great online presence and search engine optimization to bring them home and keep them. This radio show is dedicated to helping business owners and entrepreneurs and people who want to become one or both to get some actionable tips to achieve increased success or to get that business started, to take that plunge. And so we bring on experts from around the world, actually, but certainly around the country and locally if it's appropriate. Our second guest today is Joe White, and Joe White has for over 17 years as the founder of Get Life Coaching, where he helps individuals and businesses cut through the BS that keeps them from the success and fulfillment they desire. His practical and powerful approach not only produces rapid and lasting results, but empowers his clients to become a coach for their own lives. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ronald. How are you?
Excellent. How's things going in Delaware?
It's cold, but it's good.
Yeah, it's cold up here too. I think we're at 39. I might be rocking 40 by now, but
it's not that bad here, as bad as it is there.
Excellent. Well, good for you. Hopefully that's working. Tell us a little bit about your history and what you do. I mean, I've talked to you. I know you. I've seen you at several events, and I know you're a rock star, but hoping the listeners can learn from you as well right now.
Well, the short version is I never really planned to do any of this. 20-some years ago, living in New York City, became addicted to cocaine, alcohol. I overdosed. I died. I was resuscitated, continued to use, and then really 23 years ago, I discovered these self-help tapes on a late-night infomercial, bought the tapes, applied what I learned, and turned my life around. And I got so much into this understanding that, people aren't bad, businesses don't fail because, we're just have this predetermination that we're just not good or we can't succeed, but we run patterns in our own lives, and businesses run patterns too. And I started a coaching practice back before coaching was even well known. Back in 1999, I had 2 clients, coaching them over the phone in my basement. And I really developed a niche from helping people get really quick breakthroughs, powerful breakthroughs, but having those breakthroughs last. Because I'm a firm believer in, I don't want to become anybody's guru. I don't want people to become dependent on me. I want to teach you how to become a coach in your own life. And as I began working with people, I started working with a lot of business owners and CEOs and presidents of their companies, because sometimes they have the most challenges in life because they have so much imbalance. They're so driven to create something, to build something, and they lose perspective, and they hit a point in their life and they go, wow, this whole area of my life, whether it's family or health or spirituality or just happiness and fulfillment in other areas, where they feel empty. And once I started doing that, I started helping them build their businesses. And an area that so many businesses need help on is sales, because for so many people who, when they open up a business, they have a passion, they have a dream, they have a space that they want to fill. And, I would call them an alchemist. An alchemist is someone who creates something out of nothing. And they have all this passion, but a lot of times they just don't understand the simplicity of sales. And it becomes either something that stops them from growing or put a ceiling on how much they can grow.
Wow. That's amazing. But first I want to go back to the beginning of what you were saying. Overcoming so many obstacles and what people would, some people would rest their laurels on and use as a reason for not being successful. Turning that around and becoming successful is, and I think a lot of coaches and a lot of people who are successful, they hit a point in their lives where they said, no more. And they turned, and they're coming from personal experience. And, to me, that's an incredible achievement, but it also, I'm not downplaying anybody else, but somebody who's lived it, who's been there and is talking about it, they overcame it. To me, their level of credibility is a lot more than somebody who read a few books and passed a test.
Well, I never, I became a coach not because I was downsized out of a career or I was given a severance package. I became a coach because I was my first first client, right? I was my very first person that I had to help. And I can tell you, like now at this point, which was over 17 years, worked with over 26,000 individuals and businesses, I had, fortunately, a good success track. But in the beginning, when coaching was new, where people didn't know who I was or what I could do, the thing that I heard the most often was the fact that, I'd been through the battle, I'd been through the war. It wasn't something I read in the book. It wasn't because I had a degree on the wall that people came to me. And people came to me, I heard this over and over again, Ronald, that people said, I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm not alcoholic. I don't understand what that is. But if you work through that, I'm certain that you could help me.
Yeah.
And that's how
I was going to say, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, sometimes, we come down different pipes, but we're all in the same, I don't want to say cesspool, but we're all in the same pool, right? So maybe somebody doesn't have the drug or alcohol addiction, but maybe they had some other type of problem in their lives, and maybe they didn't feel adequate or whatever it was. But in order to be successful, I mean, we all have something or had something in our lives that was preventing us. And, overcoming some major obstacles, like I said, like that person said to you, I think that just adds to your overall credibility. And I want to hone in on something you said, too. Not only have you been doing this for 17 years, which is a ton of time, in addition to your personal growth, it also gives you a ton of real-world experience. But you said that you've helped 23,000 plus companies?
Well, over 26,000 individuals and businesses that I had the opportunity to work with.
Joe, before we go any further, Joe, can you please give your contact info? Because that's an amazing accomplishment. People need to know. And again, these will be archived, so if you don't have a pen available, you'll still be able to go back and listen to this and get this information.
It's real simple. My website, because I got my website before there was a lot of, coaches out there, is getlifecoaching.com. So it's GETLIFECOACHING, getlifecoaching.com. And my number is 302-832-3424. That's 302-832-3424.
And I got to say, I help businesses create their online presence. We get their websites. We get their branding. We help them with their SEO after their website is up. And when I see that URL, Get Life Coaching, that's nice. That's not easy.
Even though throughout the years, life coaching has changed a lot. I think, and we do so much more. We do everything from one-on-one coaching, private coaching. We go in and we do business turnarounds. We do incredible team building events with firewalking and glass walking and extreme elements like that for some of the biggest brands in the world. We do an event every year for Google, at Google. We've done programs for GE Global Leaders, Heineken Global Leaders, Corvo, the corporation. They're a Wi-Fi chip manufacturer. So we work on many, many different levels that really goes beyond the life coaching. And I think life coaching today is very often it's either real spiritual or it's really about goal setting. And whether I'm working with an individual or business, to me, setting goals is not the challenge. We know how to set goals. It's what prevents us from being the type of person or business that will consistently take the action needed to achieve the goals. And I really look at, earlier you mentioned we all have, different diverse backgrounds, but similarities in what prevents us from getting what we want. I really look at things real simple, right? Because I don't think things are that complex. We tend to make them complex, or they seem complex from our own personality. But if you really look at it, I work in three primary fundamentals. Number one, everything that we do, and this is the same for businesses, is a pattern. And all patterns are learned, right? And there's two ways we learn a pattern. It's either we get pain and we want to avoid it, or we get pleasure and we want more of it. Unfortunately, at times, sometimes we get those, what we think is really pleasure gives us pain. So for a business, and someone who's an entrepreneur may love working on their SEO, because I overheard the last caller, right? They love working on the website. They love doing that stuff because they love being creative. The challenge is it gives them that momentary pleasure, but they're not focusing enough working in the business on the areas of their strength. And so they go for that short-term payoff. And if you pull back just a little bit further, the third thing is all patterns meet a set of emotional needs. And when you understand those three simple concepts, it really gives you the ability to surgically work with an individual or a team of individuals, a business or organization, and help them to find that inner alignment. Because that's what it's about. It's kind of like, if you're driving around and you have your tires on your car and they keep wearing out, well, you can keep pulling into the tire dealership and get new tires. But at some point, you got to ask, what is causing that wear on the tires so rapidly? And simple understanding says, the alignment of the vehicle is off. And that's what it's about, because businesses work best when they have alignment with their core values, with their core beliefs, with being authentic, authentic, whether it's individual or business. When a business starts to become inauthentic, it starts to lose its charm, its uniqueness, its passion, and becomes very, very inefficient, almost like you're trying to heat a house when it's really cold outside with all your windows open. So when you find that alignment, everything becomes easier once you have the alignment.
And Joe, I got to tell you, when you just started talking about being authentic and being in your space, I love that. I go to a lot of conferences. I've met you at a couple, and like I was just at Habitudes, and before that I was at another one called JVX. I actually spoke at Habitudes on internet marketing, specifically SEO. But one thing I've noticed about all the speakers, yourself included, that when I hear them, you can tell when somebody's authentic. And Eric Swanson, Bill Walsh, these other people who put these on, they kind of like filter out people. So almost every single person who gets up there, right, is already, they've been vetted. So they are authentic, and you can relate to them. And you can actually, you can't see me right now, but my hands are moving. I'm actually standing up right now. So when I hear this stuff, I really get into it because it's so real, and that's what needed. When you can get into your authenticity and you can get that out to the world, man, that's your true gift, and that's what you need to focus on. Get there. Hire someone like Joe if you can't get there yourself, but figure out what's preventing you from being there. And your success is about helping others achieve their success. Don't chase dollars, man. Chase service. Chase helping other people, and the money will follow. But if you're focusing on the money, you're never really going to be successful. You have to focus on serving others. And when your focus shifts and now you're serving others, or you're in the service of others, all the other stuff just follows by natural, because it elevates you. People, you attract the right people. You don't have to search for them. They look for you.
Yeah. And I think the other side of that, Ronald, is I think, very, like, if I say with businesses, and individuals are the same, is they start off authentic. They start off serving a niche or a passion. And I think sometimes, yes, they chase the money, but other times they just lose their way, because they start thinking about what can I put out there, or what can I do that's going to increase sales, or what can I do to help business, like help that person. And that highway, that lane becomes too big. When the first thing that Steve Jobs did when he came back to Apple was cut the product line, because it was too big. It was too much. It wasn't, they didn't have they lost their way in what was their core product. And I think very much, I'm a big believer when Henry Ford said, if I listen to what people want, I'll be building a better horse and buggy. And we got to listen to the people, but we also, I think, they did a study with entrepreneurs and business owners and CEOs, and they asked them what was the strongest trait. And, you can imagine, CEOs, men and women, all different backgrounds, said many different things. But the one answer that every CEO gave was trust your gut. And you have to trust your gut. And you have to stay disciplined in the process of knowing what you do best and staying in that lane. Because very often we lose our way, not because of greed, not because of misaligned intentions. We just become bloated. We become more than what we really are. And we try to grow too fast, or we try to be something for everybody. I made that mistake too. I did so many programs because I wanted to be something for everyone. But you got to be the best that you are, and you got to understand what's your core offering. What do you do best, and bring that to market and make that the absolute best product and service that you can. You can branch out a little bit afterwards, but too many times entrepreneurs, they try to become, like I said, too much. And when you do that, you lose your identity, and then you just become a Walmart. Or as the last speaker said, or the last caller said, you become a cotton swab instead of a Q-tip. You lose your charm.
I love it. We got about 2 minutes left, Joe, and I love the focus, the clarity, but more importantly, the simplicity. Keeping it simple, keeping it real, finding your niche, what you provide. Don't get caught up in the bloat and trying to be all things to everybody. This is just very valuable, and I've probably said it once or twice. This will be my second or third time, but this episode is archived, and you're definitely going to want to listen to it again. Joe, if you could give us, 1 minute or so of some close and also your contact information again, please.
Okay, if you look at like the history behind being an entrepreneur, the numbers, we know that 92% of all businesses fail within, by that 10-year mark. It's not easy being an entrepreneur, but for me, I can say, the lessons and the freedom that it brings, and the freedom doesn't always mean, we're the only people in the world that work 80 hours for ourselves to avoid 40 hours from someone else. The strongest thing to focus on is that belief in yourself, that no matter how challenging it gets, no matter how many weeks you go without a paycheck or how many of your frustrations, always stay connected to your why, to the why that you do it. Because people in life, and I'm not a pessimist, but I'm much more pragmatic, people in your life and life occurrences will knock you down, will drag you down. It's not easy, but you got to have that inner belief in yourself. And if you don't have it, you got to find it. And the way we connect it to it is our why, because that's the strongest suit. Right? Because as an entrepreneur, a business owner, you got to remain true to yourself. Shakespeare, to thy own self be true. You got to stay true, because if not, and this has happened to me in the course of my 17 years, where I remember a year or so ago, I opened my eyes. I'm like, I feel like I'm working for a business I hate because of the certain directions that we took things in.
Excellent. And Joe, what is your website again? Is getlifecoaching.com?
GetLifeCoaching.com. You can find me on Facebook. Just you go Facebook.com/GetLifeCoaching. That will lead you to my page, or you can just call me direct. I don't care. 302-832-3424. I offer a complimentary coaching session for individuals or businesses. It's an hour of real coaching where we roll up our sleeves and we get to work. And take advantage of it. You'll get tons of insight. And if there's something that you want some more of, we can discuss how we do that too.
Excellent, Joe. We're up against a hard break about a minute ago. I'm getting flashes from my support team to my left. You've been listening to Ron Couming from Internet Marketing and Business Solutions from RCS Technology Solutions, where we provide business owners with the ability to achieve even greater success using various internet marketing media tools. Thanks.